Crappie fishing, extremely popular, tons of different ways to catch them. And I'm going to show you my favorite way to catch them using new technology called forward-facing sonar. One of the things that I love about forward-facing sonar is that it allows you to fish for crappie 12 months out of the year, different depths, deep, shallow, standing timber, rocks, brush piles, stake beds, anything. You're actually able to look in the water, look at the structure, say it's a tree. You can look in the branches and see, are the fish there today? Are they not? Are they small? Are they big? And you can watch your lure fall. You can tell how they're reacting and whether you're gonna catch them or not that day. Traditionally, I'd go to a spot and I'm like, man, I've caught them here before, and I'll cast and cast and cast and just not catch anything. I know whether or not I'm fishing where the fish are. We figured out that the fish are 15 to 20 today. So we're driving around, checking humps, underwater points, ledges, different spots, looking for brush that's in those tight depths, and then driving over until we see fish on that type cover. Then I throw a marker buoy out, and what that does is it allows me to have a visual to kind of adjust to, ooh, that's a big brush pile full of fish, while I'm casting, because when you get out there on the water spinning, it makes it really difficult if you don't have something to look at. If it's really shallow, I try to throw the buoy near it and not go directly over it to disturb the fish. Sometimes I'll let it rest for a few minutes before I fish it, and then I go back and ease up to it. But then I use the forward-facing sonar to see exactly where on the spot I want to be. I point my trolling motor the direction that I want, make the cast, and I can see my bait falling on the screen right there. And I watch my bait fall. You can watch your bait to know, am I fishing below the fish? Am I fishing above the fish? Reeling too fast, too slow? It'll give you a lot of feedback, which will allow you to adjust real time. I generally try to cast just past it, and then that way I can bring the bait back and watch it and decide faster, slower, higher, lower in the water column, and then I can adjust based on what the fish are doing. So I can actually see how the fish are reacting to my bait. Are they chasing it? Are they hitting it hard? Are they ignoring it? Tells me I need to move on and find new fish, or I need to give these fish something different. Oh, I missed one. I missed that fish, but the great thing is I'm watching those fish actively chase and fight and decide who's going to actually bite it. I'm actually, not only am I feeling the bite on my pole, but I'm actually watching the fish take the bait also. Got a good one. Oh yeah, real good one. Oh! So the great thing about this fish was I'm fishing a little bit deeper, and I watched my jig and realized that I was reeling it over top of the fish too high. So what I did was I dropped it down in the water column. I was able to watch my jig down, made sure I put it right on their nose, and he just smashed it. So we're gonna see if we can do this a couple more times. So I'm using a 6'6" medium light spinning rod with 4-pound monofilament and a 1/16 ounce jig head. The type plastic I use vary. I love Crappie magnet, I love Bobby Garland, any of those crappie baits. They're all fairly similar, but everybody has their preference. There are people who will tell you that color doesn't matter, and on some days that's true. But there are absolutely days where color matters. The size jig head that you have, whether it's a 1/16 or a 1/8 or a 1/24 matters. The profile of the bait, some like one that looks like a shad. This one's called a slab slayer. There's some that have split tails or paddle tails, ribbon tails. They all give a different action, and sometimes the fish just want a specific profile. One of the great things about forward-facing sonar is that you're not wasting time casting to empty brush piles where you've caught them in the past, or I always call it fishing history. Oh, I caught them here before really well. Well, conditions have changed, and that spot may not be nearly as good today as it was that day for whatever reason. But right now I know there's about 20 or 30 good crappie in here that want to eat my bait. So I've just got to get it right on their nose and catch one. So the other thing that's great about this is I'm looking at fish, and I wish I could catch every one, but it's also telling me that I may have caught everything that I'm going to catch out of there, because I know I'm making good casts. I know I'm putting it right where they want it, and if they're not eating it, maybe I can come back to them later, but right now they're done. So maybe they're gonna let me catch 2 or 3 out of there. Maybe I have to come back in an hour. Maybe they're done for the day. But I'm getting that live feedback that's telling me, is it working, is it not? Make a change, and maybe that change is leave and go somewhere else, find another spot, come back to this one later, or come back to it next week. You can also adjust your retrieve based on what you're seeing. Do they want a slow, steady retrieve? Do they want you to pop it some? When you pop the bait, are they running away from it? Are they coming after it? Are you triggering a bite? You know, are the fish just not moving? And a lot of times when they chase it but don't take it, well, that gives you some information. It tells you that you need to do something. You need to probably change color or profile or something. Give them something different than what you're showing them, because they're telling you that they're in the mood to eat. It's just what you're offering them is not what they want. Another thing it tells you is, you may think that they're at the top. You'll know if they're at the top of the brush pile or the bottom of the brush pile, or, you know, do you need to keep it higher in the water column? You know, let it get all the way down in there, and then they'll eat it, because they're the fish that are active are at the bottom. Constantly changing your approach based on the feedback you're getting. Oh, there he is. Oh, it's a good one. Good one end of the day. Crappie fishing. Forward-facing sonar, tons of fun. It's a great way to introduce people to the sport of crappie fishing. And at the end of the day, you got a big mess of fish to cook for dinner and share with your friends.